What's going on? How we doing today? We're live. We're live in the building. So it is Sunday night, 8:30, and today we're going to be talking about how to break the fear cycle and use structure to really transform our lives. Because when it comes to fitness, that is one of the biggest things that hold on. Let me send out these right here. If you can hear us in the chat, I'm trying to hear the audio. If you can hear us good in the chat, give us a one. If you are watching this on replay, give us a replay. All right, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, um, I really want to destroy this fear myth right now because you're not failing because you're weak. You're not failing because you got a busy schedule. You're not failing because you're broke, broken, or lazy or lack willpower. Really what you're dealing with is biology. And a lot of times our bodies make us do things that we're not supposed to do. And when it comes to us working on ourselves, it's really it's work. It's a lot of work. And I really want you guys to understand this because when it comes to like what we do, it's really something simple at Supreme. I want you to understand one thing. When it comes to exercise, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about eradicating toxins on a mental level and on a physical level. You know what I'm saying? We have bad bacteria, possible parasites, but we also have doubt, we have fear, we have different things um, that affect us from our environment, overstimulating us to the point where your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's protecting you. It raises cortisol levels. Cortisol triggers a certain enzyme, which basically stores fat. So it's real. So I'm sending this stuff out now. I want you guys to basically jump on here. We're live. I want you to share this because we're gonna have a nice little talk. And when it comes to what we do here, really really important, very instrumental that you guys jump on and hear us out in this actual thing. All right. So we're live. We're live. We are live. All right. So um, what is it? If you guys can put inside of the chat. Also, if you're here, you're watching this thing live right now, give me some response in the chat. Definitely want you guys to put on real important for us to interact. If you guys have questions, concerns, let me know. And this right here is definitely something else. I'm just putting in these links, these last reminders, letting everybody know in the family because we just started this YouTube page. And unfortunately, we had one before and we're starting off brand new. New life, new us, new everything. You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely, jumping on here and letting everybody know in the family that we are live. All right. So definitely join and give me a thumbs up inside of the chat if you guys can hear me before we go in. All right. So anyway, so what was I saying? A lot of times, we find ourselves with experiencing a lot of fear due to jobs, stress, anxiety, and even uncertainty. Even these little small things that, like running late or a negative comment from your boss or spouse, your brain activates a certain type of response with that, right? And your brain has a threat detection system. It's a part of your uh, limbic system, the emotional centers of your brain, right, when activated, sends a signal to your hypothalamus, which also basically its mission is to control your body's stress responses, right? Still sending out these messages. So from there, the hypothalamus creates a chain reaction which occurs and it signals to your pituitary gland, and that pituitary gland triggers the adrenaline glands on top of your kidneys, and then the adrenaline floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. These are two stress hormones. One is good and one is not so good, because cortisol can put you in a fat storage phase, and adrenaline, that's good for you. That's flight, that's fight or flight. So here's the key. This system is meant to protect you from short-term danger. It's your survival system. But see, the problem is most people are living in a constant state of alert, right? Especially my young professional women. Ladies, you're raising kids, you're managing teams, you're supporting spouses, dealing with aging parents, answering emails, shopping on Amazon. You got packages coming in galore. You know who I'm talking to. Pew, pew, pew. Ignoring, you're so busy throughout the day, you ignore your hunger cues, and then you drink coffee or tea, and instead of really getting rest, you don't know when to eat. So then your body starts to chronically produce cortisol all day long. Now you need cortisol. Cortisol is something that helps you, but too much of the cortisol causes you to gain weight. Chronic producing cortisol all day long, not 10 minutes like it's supposed to. Cortisol, literally, it's a 10-minute thing. Some people have cortisol all day long, all day, every day. It's that sleep deprivation. Um, a lot of people, when I first sit down with them, they always talk first and foremost about how they cannot sleep. Sleep is one of the biggest issues for them. So you're dealing with cortisol all day, every day. 10 hours instead of 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 years. This is why so many people have so much medication that they have to take now, because they have chronic illnesses. Because one thing matches the other. The consequences of high cortisol levels, right? When it's elevated, fat storage increases, especially around your stomach. Cortisol promotes that visceral fat, because there's two different types of fat. There's visceral fat and there's subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat is the layer of fat that's beneath your skin. That's the fat that is associated with diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. That fat that's around your organs is the most dangerous fat, because it's not really about the cosmetic issues. This is what slows you down. You have health span and you have lifespan. Lifespan is basically how long you're going to live, but your health span determines when somebody is going to be wiping your behind. Visceral fat is linked to all different types of things: heart disease, like I said, and insulin resistance too. That chronic inflammation, it breaks down muscles. Cortisol puts your body in a catabolic phase. It's funny because today I went to this gym. I went to Planet Fitness. I had a regular gym membership at Giant Fitness. This is for Jersey, for folks that are not in this area. But I used to go to Giant Fitness because Giant Fitness was 5 minutes away from my house. Plus, this particular location is where I became a personal trainer. So it's like my humble beginnings. And some days I don't, I like to work out at my gym, but I mean, when there's customers there, it's their time. I'm not really going to go there and work out when they're working out, right? We're more of a studio based thing. But I like to go to the gym, put my headphones on, listen to some music. Anyway, one day in January, this recently, they shut it down. I don't know what happened. They still started charging us too. I don't know. But Apparently, the landlord couldn't get right with the owner, and they just disagreed. There goes my membership. So I actually wound up joining Planet Fitness, and the reason why I joined Planet was because where my mom lives, also in the Jersey Shore, there's basically a Planet Fitness there. There's Planet Fitness anywhere. So it kind of made sense. Anywhere I travel, I can go there, whatever. So anyway, I'm in Planet Fitness. And if you guys know Planet Fitness, that is where nobody knows what they're doing. So I'm talking about this because cortisol reminds me of catabolic and cannibalism. And the reason why I say catabolic is because when you're exercising, the goal is to build lean muscle mass. When you go to the gym, I see so many people do this mistake and it really, really bothers me. They go there and they focus on just cardio. They go there, do the cardio because it's very comforting, because you don't really know what you're doing. You don't want to look crazy, so you just go straight to the cardio machine. And I see a bunch of people on the cardio machines. Then they go fool around with the machines. Then they go back on the cardio machine, stairmaster. They thinking they're doing stuff, but you're actually elevating your cortisol levels, and you're sending your body into a catabolic phase, which means that when it breaks down, you are essentially losing muscle mass, because catabolic means cannibalism, and it means your body is eating your muscle mass. So never ever ever go to a gym where, number one, you don't have fresh air. It's not a great environment. You want to be outside, because your body doesn't know the difference between fight or flight. It just knows to protect you. So when you go into a gym, remember, the air quality is not even that good. So, like, when we go there, we're lifting weights. We're, it's a lot of breathing. It's a lot of carbon monoxide. It's a lot of stuff going on, right? So, did I say carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide? Anyway, so whatever you're breathing out, you know what I'm talking about. So, when it comes to exercising, your body starts breaking down and starts using this fat as energy, right? Um, that all depends on how long you work out for, because you have to remember, you have to deplete glucose and you have to deplete glycogen, right? So if your body is not depleting that glycogen, well, guess what's going to happen? Your body is going to go into that fight or flight mode, and you are going to elevate the amount of cortisol, and that is not good. Cortisol will turn your body into a catabolic phase, and then your body will just be eating off. It will just be eating your muscle mass. Now you have to work on building up muscle back up, and you constantly are losing because you're doing so much cardiovascular endurance. Not good. There's days where you do cardio, and there's days where you don't. There's days where we're working just specifically on getting ourselves right. Very much pay attention to that, guys. You gotta do. This is something we gotta do, right? High levels of cortisol, instead of building muscle, your body breaks it down for energy, especially if you are skipping meals. Ladies, you are going so far, and I'm talking to my ladies, my professional women, because men, we don't really miss meals. Women, you can miss a meal or two, and you think that you're losing weight by doing that. No, your body is actually elevating cortisol and putting you in fat storage mode. So the food you eat, or it's going to be stored as fat, because your body is like, okay, we can't trust her. Your cravings also spike as well. When your cortisol levels triggers your brain, and it's looking to seek dopamine, which is that feel good chemical. The fastest way to get dopamine is sugar, number one, salt, number two, processed food, and alcohol. That's why when you binge late at nighttime or hit that 3 p.m. crash and reach for snacks, that is what's going on. That's what's going on with your body, especially around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. ish. And then what that does is that makes you suffer in sleep. High cortisol disrupts your melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. So if you're wired, because number one, you're not eating good, number two, you got high levels of cortisol, you're tired, you can't fall asleep, you wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning time, and you can't fall back to sleep. Or you just wake up extremely early and can't fall back to sleep. Or you just can't go to sleep and you fall asleep at 2 a.m. I think that's what I meant to say. So we got to work on lowering that. And strength training is the way to be. That is how you do it, hands down. Your thyroid function also slows down. Your chronic stress interferes with your T3 and T4. That thyroid hormone that controls your metabolism in the first place. This means that your body literally burns fewer calories at rest when you're stressed. You cannot be stressed. We have to work on that. So that's a mental thing. And if that's a mental thing that where you feel like you can't, you need to seek professional help, then go and seek professional help. Estrogen and progesterone imbalance for women, especially women. It controls cortisol and can disrupt your entire reproductive hormone system. And if we're done with that, even still, perimenopause, it affects that as well. This causes you, right, estrogen and progesterone. This causes irregular cycles, mood swings, fatigue, and weight gain around them hips, stomach, and them thighs. So the next time someone tells you just eat less and move more, you have every right to say that advice is biologically wrong. There's no such thing as eating less. You got to eat smarter. That is what you have to do. And you have to gain willpower because willpower is a short term solution for a long term biological imbalance. Willpower is what gets you to drive and dive in and just keep going. How many people have that? How many of you folks? What's going on, everybody? I see everybody in the chat. What's going on, Tiffany, Mirtha, Whitney, Rodney? What's up? What's up? For those that are just coming in, we're talking about high cortisol levels. The topic of today is how to break the fear cycle and use structure to transform your life. Fear, and we're talking about the science of fear, cortisol, high levels of cortisol. What does that do, guys? It raises and causes an imbalance in your body. And what that does is that creates a bad transformation and affects your sleep. It affects dopamine. It makes you eat and it robs you of your willpower. We got to also sleep. Like I said, your meals have to be consistent. This is all in a nutshell. Your body will reject that transformation and it will cling to its fat. If you're trying to work out and you're trying to exercise, but you don't change the inner workings of your body, that is it. I get so many times, people come on, oh, I got this going on. I got this going on. You may even have listen, what stops and derails people's workouts is that you feel like whatever life has thrown at you is more important than your health and wellness. I must say that is not the good way of thinking. Doesn't matter what the situation is. I spoke to someone today, just recently, and they had a lot to say. Hey, I got this going on. This is a serious situation. Da, 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 da. I got you. I get it. But guess what? Anything that stops you and derails your movement has got to be worked around. We have to find a way to work around those particular issues. Because if not, it's going to affect you. It's going to derail your health. Now, some people are cool with that. That's great. But for my folks, my Supreme Warriors, I know you're not happy with that because we got goals that we're trying to accomplish. Now, why is it that some of you can't outperform the person you still believe you are? I want to make things real clear. You will never become the person you're meant to be if you keep showing up as the person you used to be. You can eat the right foods, do the right workouts, join the right programs, but if your identity hasn't shifted, you'll sabotage yourself every single time. This is why when a person joins Supreme Body University, we try to work on past, present, and future. Your past self, knowing exactly what those triggers are in order to get above that. And then understanding the present of where we are, the present state of time, and being able to conjoin and work on being in the future, which is the mindset that we want to be. It's like saving enough nuts for the winter. It's like our 401k. See, we have higher intellect and intelligence to know that we need to also save. But there's some people out there in the world that's not in a position of saving because they have to go to work and struggle and deal with things on a day-to-day basis. That was my life when I was young, right? But it doesn't have to be now for you guys. We have to work on preserving ourselves because anybody that wants to self-preserve themselves has reached a certain pinnacle in their life where they know that they have to be better versions of themselves. So identity is the real person, and that's the real program that you need to be following. And the science behind that is that fitness programs never tell you your self-image regulates your behavior because motivation is neuroscience. It's all about action. Action is what gets you out of bed in the morning time, not motivation. No one says, "Oh, I'm motivated to go to work." I mean, I'm motivated to go to work. Don't get me wrong, but the average person is not. See, I work for myself, and I actually work for my clients. And working for my clients is a great joy. So at the end of the day, I got cool bosses. So I get up in the morning time and I'm happy to serve. But anyway, we're talking about the science of motivation, right? Your brain is wired to seek alignment between who you believe you are and what you do. So if you believe I've always been big, boned, I'm just an emotional eater, I always fall off after a month, I have no discipline, this is just my body, this is just my situation, I have overtime, I have responsibilities for my kids and my kids' kids and whatever. Your subconscious mind will protect that identity even if it's killing you because your brain values familiarity over success. Why? Because to the brain, familiarity is safe and change is a threat. So when you start eating good, eating clean, tracking your food, waking up early, saying no to sugar, saying yes to yourself, your brain will start screaming, "Who is this? This isn't you. You've never done this before. Why are you even trying?" It makes you start to sabotage yourself. I was going back and forth with this lady today, early today, that expressed interest in wanting to join us. We have an automated system. And that automated system, what it does is it sends out text messages. So when you fill out your information on our site, you get a text message from us. This system costs money, right? It it automatically sends you a text. There's like a little AI chatbot in there that sends you a text. It also will send you an email to make sure things are valid. The people that are really serious about it, they that are serious about their goals, they'll answer the text, they'll go back and forth. But the folks that are self-sabotaging, they'll let the text messages and the emails, it'll overwhelm them. This woman said that we sent her too many texts and now she's turned off. Lady, then be big, be overweight. Because at the end of the day, we're we're here to help. And the folks that we don't the folks that don't give us any issues are the ones we want to work with. It's a beautiful thing when you're able to locate who you really want to work with and who sees the red flags. But that was crazy because we're going back and forth texting each other. And, I'm trying to be nice, but then after a while, it's like, man, what? You either want this or you don't. You get a bunch of text messages and emails or even calls from us. It's because we're trying to locate who you are to see if it's a yes or a no. And if it's a no, we try to locate and find the people that are not good for us, and we try to get you out of there. We're trying to delete you from our system because we don't want to work with you because you're not a good fit, and you can come in and project your bad apples onto our group because we have a family. One bad apple can spoil the bunch. So let that be a warning, right? And I'm gonna clip this up and I'm going to post this. So and further send it out so that you do not join this thing because this thing is serious. We gotta stop, we gotta work on our brain self-sabotaging mentality. Another thing, if your job basically says you have overtime, okay, we have to work around that. That doesn't give you the green light to eat crazy. That doesn't give you the green light not to work out. You have to better your situation. You don't capitulate to a job. The job wants you, it wants to work with you. You are doing your job a favor by being there, showing up, and doing what it needs to be, doing what it needs so that it can be effective and be a great job and work whatever it is you do. If you're a nurse, if you're a teacher, whatever the case may be. But see, now teachers, they kind of leave at the desired time they're supposed to. But some teachers have long hours, don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about them other jobs, them jobs where just like mandatory overtime. First of all, that's a red flag for me. Mandatory overtime, that's like your job does not have, not all, but that's like your job doesn't have enough good workers. And why is that? That means that there's something wrong with the culture of your job to force you to stay and not have no regard, no care about what you're doing when you leave. And then I have some people that have three jobs. How are you going to do this with your three jobs? Oh, well, I can do 1 to 2 times a week. It's not going to work. So there are some outside factors and there's some inside factors. We got to also locate those bad outside and inside factors as well. The outside factors could be your job, but the inside factor with you is looking for little things that basically self sabotage. We got to work on that. Missed workouts. This is why we've taken initiative in contacting you to see why you haven't been in for the past week, and also to see why you have not scheduled 3 workouts ahead of time. Self sabotage, missed workouts, random binging. This is why we look at your app and we look at how much food you're eating and why you're not logging in your nutrition if need. This all will lead to a fall off, which is why we see the future. So it's about habits and it's about identity correction. Your brain is trying to keep you where you have always been, in a comfortable place. We have to get that comfort level out. So you need to work on rewiring you. This is why this is a new identity. Your brain is not fixed, it's not locked. It can be rewritten and it can evolve. Every time you take a new action to do something that works for you, you have to be smart about not falling for the things that can sabotage your growth and your health. Every time you honor a new habit, every time you speak a new truth, every time you reshape your identity by learning something new about yourself and how you can better yourself, creates a process that's instant, but is governed by repetition. Because you have to continuously do that action. You have to do that habit. You have to continuously seek new truth about yourself. So sometimes that means seeking seclusion from others to reach that self atonement. So the process is not instant, it's all about reps. Sort of like coming to the gym and continuously doing more reps, more repetition. This creates an emotional recharge and it creates a great environment of consistency. It will help you sleep better at nighttime when your brain goes through those changes. Repetition is that daily action towards that new self mentally. Physical repetition is when you are consistently doing something, but instead of doing 10 pounds, we're going to do 12 pounds. We're going to do 15 pounds. We're going to continuously go up. This way, we actually see gains because if you stay at 10 pounds for 2 months, you're going to plateau. When it comes to emotional repetition, that's attaching real meaning to why this matters. That's why we have the 5 reasons of why the thing you're doing is the reason why you're doing it. Why do you want to get to this goal of toning, weight loss, whatever? And once we have repetition and emotion in check, that creates a proper environment, which is a culture, which is a way of life, which is the behavior pattern expressed by one who sees things accordingly to what his or her mind processes. And that's where the knowledge comes from. It comes from your environment, it's your home. Being around people in a system that supports the new version of you is how we do it. That's why every Thursday we also have accountability group coaching calls so you can be around like-minded individuals, even if you don't talk, even if you feel like you are shy and you don't have, enough information, or you may feel like you have a dumb question, which there is no dumb questions. You got to be real. Supreme Body University, we don't just ask what your weight is, we ask what your goal is mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. We want you to believe who you are and who do you want to become. Who do you believe you are and what do you want to become? Because you don't get to where you want to get without proper alignment of those two things. You say you want to be healthy. You say you want a good looking body. You say you still see yourself as someone that was in the best shape of their lives when they were in high school or college. But you don't want to do what it takes to feel and look and be sexy again. You want to describe yourself as fat, tired, and off track consistently. That's the disconnect that's blocking your transformation. And this is the reason why we have to reprogram your self narrative. And that starts with two things: the identity supreme reset method, understanding your old identity. To be honest, what have you been telling yourself, right? I'm not just a gym type. I'm too busy. I'm too old. I've tried everything. I don't like tracking food, calories, Mark. I don't have enough time. It's too tedious. I don't finish things. Well, it's that's not your truth. That's your trauma that's speaking. That's your past that's speaking. You've been conditioned by disappointment. of not seeing yourself move on a scale. And that is what the definition of failure is. And it conditions you to just say, to the wind, I'm just going to be who I am. No, that is not the truth. That is not you. We can do better. We have to do better. You have to declare your new identity so that you know that it's real. And that's how the rewire starts. That's when you look in the mirror, you say, I'm a woman who follows through. I'm a man who follows through. I train 3 to 4 times a week because I love myself and I want to be the best version of myself. I prioritize sleep. I'm going to stay hydrated with my H3O2 fruits. And I'm going to protect my peace. Ooh, that's a big one right there. Protecting your peace. That's what my wife taught me. Always, always, always protect your peace. Never let a person knock you off your square. Protect your peace by knowing your truth and being the best version of you. Protect your peace. Take care of your body because you deserve it. That's a good one. I'm not starting over again. I'm starting differently from the last time. You don't wait until it's true to say this. You say it until it becomes true. Again, you don't wait until you say this. You wait and you say it until it becomes true. You got to be patient. Repetition plus belief equals reprogramming. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you got to get better organized. If you're feeling tired, work on energy. If you want to reactivate, move with intention. If you feel insecure, position yourself to be solid. If you're lost and you can't be found, start leading. You don't need to be more disciplined. You don't need a new definition of who you are. Start today. This definition is no longer rooted in your past, it's rooted in your potential. Because as a professional, man and woman you're becoming, that person already is inside of you. They just need the space, the structure, and the support to be activated. Now, one thing that people follow or we fall for is that safety trap. Remember, we were talking, I was saying complacency. When your body is trying to get into survival mode, it tries to complete a safety trap. You're not addicted to struggle, you're addicted to safety. You want to be safe, you want to be in control. I want you to be out of control. I want you to be out of control and in my control because I know how to destroy a foundation in order to build a more stronger one back up. It's like a contractor that has controlled demolition. The most of these habits that are hurting you, overeating, overworking, underresting, self-sacrificing, aren't just bad habits, they're coping mechanisms. There are ways your nervous system is how it learns to survive. And now you're trying to just be better. But I want you to thrive. This system puts you in survival mode, and we got to get you out of survival mode because survival mode is fat storage mode. That's, oh, I was supposed to go to the gym today, but I'll go tomorrow. Your body doesn't care about your goals. It cares about your safety. And it will signal to your brain this. Your nervous system has two modes: fight, flight, freeze, survival mode. You cannot build, grow, or heal in survival mode. You can't be better, the best version of yourself in survival mode. So get out of that mode. Folks that are economically deprived are in survival mode. You're not economically deprived. Knock on wood. So get out of that fight or flight mode. There's folks right now that are dealing with a mass genocide in Darfur in Africa. They are being killed. They are literally dealing with a genocidal maniacs that are basically ethnically cleansing the whole shebang. That's survival mode. That's where your body and your cortisol levels are high. How are your cortisol levels the same as theirs? The war in Ukraine, the soldiers that are fighting and getting bombed on every single day, there's something that's happening that can take you out. That's cortisol levels. These soldiers probably, they don't even, you get what I'm saying? You are dealing in the same exact thing. You're going through war, but this war is worse because the enemy on the front line, you guys can always come to the table and reach a certain solution and put your guns down and shake hands. But you can't do that with yourself. Your digestion slows down and you start to store fat. And then this fat affects your heart, slows it down, which basically your long-term lifespan basically starts to diminish. Your metabolism shuts off, that fat burning, and your muscles, they tense up and your brain moves from logic to reactive stages. Your brain stops thinking logically and it just deals with reaction because it's in survival mode. And your immune system becomes suppressed and you start to get sick constantly. And then your sleep quality collapses. So this means really no matter how much workouts you do, how much nutrition you do, your body, if your body is against you and it doesn't feel safe, it's going to go into that survival mode. You can't burn body fat, build muscle, or focus clearly when your body is bracing for impact. This is why you just can't get ahead. So we have to work on that. The emotional side. And a lot of you guys that I coach, especially women, I coach are perfectionists. You try to wait for the right season, the right time. If you have good clothes because you order clothes because you don't want to just wear what you have, it's like too much. And my guys, my fellas, way too much overachievers. The ones everyone leans on. You got to be the one that steps up to the plate for your family. And some women too. So we got to work on those things because it's really, really important to be productive and out of survival mode. So stay busy to avoid that stillness. Keep moving and get 10,000 steps in. Stay strong by strength training and address your past, present, and future. These are the things that we need to do in order to get towards our goals. A threat to your environment is a threat to you. So slow down with intentions, really focus and be deliberate on what you need to do in order to be successful. Remember how, or if you went to school, I don't know if you went to school or not, but figure out what you can do to be stress free. What type of sacrifices do you have to make in order to be stress free? How much work do you have to put in? And is it something that's going to be ongoing and continuing? You got to lose weight. We got to transform. We got to be mental. Transformation isn't just about losing weight, however, it's about coming out of hiding and it's about choosing peace over productivity. Real freedom, real freedom doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from feeling safe enough to finally let go of who you had to be in order to be what you need to be. So, I want you guys to really learn and understand motivation is a myth. You have to take action. You will not always feel like doing it. You will not always feel like you need to be like you're always inspired. You will not always feel confident or ready. And if you've been waiting on a feeling to save you, then you are already losing. If you think someone else is going to transform you, you are sadly mistaken. You gotta want this. This is the only way that this is gonna work. You gotta want this. You gotta not make excuses. You gotta be led by motivation, and motivation is driven by that dopamine system in your brain. It's based on that excitement and those rewards, anticipation. So when you first start something new, like this new fitness plan that we're going to embark on, new meal prep, new challenges, we have to understand that the novelty of the entire thing will wear off. The happiness that you once had, that can wear off. Dopamine crashes, and you are like, oh, I need some coffee. No, no, that's not what we need. We need a reset. That's why most people quit doing anything after 2 weeks because they're relying on dopamine. And once dopamine is no longer present, then you have issues. Familiarity breeds contempt, and the brain loves predictability. Your brain really thrives on the same patterns it does. It seeks routine and it seeks rhythm. Every time you have to think too hard, your brain becomes overwhelmed with stuff. That's why you end up saying, I don't feel like doing it. I don't know what to eat. I'm tired of working out. I can't come today because I've got called and oh, my situation is better. No, your brain is running out of that fuel that it needs in order to be successful. So, just to give you something real tangible and a takeaway from home, start creating a scheduling system or let us help you with that schedule. We will put the workouts inside of your calendar, block out your workout times, and also we need to on your calendar, block out your eating times as well. Start setting up alarms and start setting up times where you need to log in that nutrition. There's zero excuses. The next one is nutritional protocols. Remember, we are big when it comes to um, nutrition. It's really, really hard. Know what you're eating before the day starts and just don't let Chick fil A pop up. Stick with what works and create simple wins. And we're going to work on accountability checkpoints. This is why we have our group coaching calls Thursdays at 7 p.m. because this is what helps you stay aligned, progress, tracking of yourself and other people. This is what we do. We track the progress of everybody. Now, just like everybody in your life, you work on progression. Well, same exact thing. You need to start checking in and holding your own self accountable. And that's it. Stack those wins. Let's get those success. Every 30 days, we stay in alignment. This is why we take all the measurements so that we can see your body going into a positive and great direction. This is how you make results last forever. That glow up. This is how you glow up, ladies. It's a difference between I did it and this is just who I am now. We don't just want to say, oh, I did it, I got towards my goals. No, you have to accept the new norm of this is who I am now. So if you want to keep the results and have positive results, you have to make this shift part of your identity, your calendar, and your culture. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching this live. I will talk to you guys and I will see you on the next one. And watch out, if you are not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. And I want you to tap that bell notification so that you can receive all of the actual notifications whenever we go live. And that's it. I want to thank you.